Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. This is my first n8n video, so do bear with me. So this n8n video really teaches you how to make an appointment reminder for a healthcare system. So essentially, picture this: if you work in a clinic or hospital or healthcare practice, this video will be for you. By the end of this video, you'll be able to understand how to build an automated system that does what we call automatically calling of your patients before their appointment. It speaks to them in their own preferred language, so English, Mandarin, Bahasa, or even Japanese. It reads out what the patients need to prepare before they come for their appointment. And it also kind of asks them to confirm or even cancel their appointment if they cannot make it. And of course, if the patient doesn't pick up the so-called automated phone call, we have designed to really call the patient on another day at another time, send them a message or even a SMS or even WhatsApp, right? So picture this problem that we have here, that your receptionist sits down in the morning, Monday morning, with a list of 40 patients who has appointments coming up this week. And then she needs to manually call the patient one by one and to check whether they're coming, right? And remind them what to bring, and what not to bring, and confirm, right, whether they're coming. This could easily take about 3 to 4 hours of her time every week. And the worst part of everything is patients still don't show up. They forget, right? Because, they just, it's not on the calendar, right? So the appointment slot sits there empty, and actually that costs healthcare costs. And the worst part of everything is that another patient who needs that slot is unable to get it, right? So this the little diagram that you see right here is the automation that your receptionist doesn't need to do a single reminder call, or at least she can reduce by 80%. The system does it every morning at this little trigger time that you set. And if you set it at 9, you can set it at 8 every morning. And you can even batch it so that the system doesn't have to call so many patients at once. And basically it picks up this thing called a get appointment, right? Where it searches who is coming for appointment in the next 3 to 4 days. And that actually, essentially, that is how you get that first list of patients to call. Right, so this is n8n. Can try it out for yourself. So these are the 5 tools that we use before I get started in the whole flow. We use Google Sheets, for sure, Google Sheets. I'm sure you will use your own electronic medical record in some way. And of course, we also use a lot of logic in between, filtering. And of course, if you have pre-visit instructions, you can also have it here as well. The language selector really comes from your database of communication preferences. And we also have this function of integration with WhatsApp as well. And after that, it goes through, once the language has kind of been settled, it goes through OpenAI or whatever LLM you use. Here we're using ChatGPT, very common. And then the voice comes from 11 Labs, but you can use all kinds of text-to-speech these days. Even Humi AI, that's the best sounding text-to-speech I've ever heard so far. And of course, this part here about the calling, how does the automation call the patient, right? It's through this webhook call. We call this the Twilio. You can use it to call the patient from here. And then it goes through a series of routing, and of course Gmail. You need to integrate your Gmail here to really send patients email or even answer queries. And of course, everything else here is just the complication that we run through step by step. But these are the fine tools that you need before we embark on this whole n8n flow, right? So this is the big picture, right? So every morning it looks at the n8n looks at your Google Sheet. It looks row by row on who or which patient it should call. So it checks a few things, right? It checks, firstly, is the appointment 3 days away or not? So in that sense, it also checks whether the patient has been contacted or not. So you don't want to call a patient where you already called the patient once, and you call him again, and then he'll get very, very frustrated by it. So in a sense, there's of course the blackout hours where probably if the patient says, don't call me at the morning, I'm still sleeping, that kind of thing. And of course, we also set blackout hours, like maybe don't call after office hours, after clinic hours, that sort of thing. So you might want to call like during lunch, just post lunch, where people are more receptive to pick up your call, right? And of course, it fetches the pre-visit instructions right here. So things that you want to tell the patient before they come for their appointment, right? And in a way, there's the language selector bit here. So we talk about the language selector, where depending on your so-called patient database on how you store their communication preference, like some people don't do very well in Chinese, some people don't do very well in English. So you might want to set a language that they are more receptive to hear as well. And of course, that also comes down all the way down to the appointment type, as well as the generating of the script, right? So here is where you can, the script is generated, and when the patient picks up the phone, they'll hear this preferred language that they have, and of course the script. So the script will probably ask them like, hey, you have an appointment coming up, press 1 to confirm, press 2 to cancel, or even press 3 if you have any question. So the system responds to whichever option they choose. And of course, if no one picks up, then it calls another day. So this is where the intricacy comes in, where the calls are made right here. And if the call is not answered, then it retries again for another 1 or 2 more times. You can set it. And yeah, if the retry actually fails on the second or third attempt, what n8n can do is send out this thing called an unreachable message, or SMS that is for unreachable status, telling the patient, hey, sorry, can't reach you. Or we can even send out a WhatsApp, say, hey, we didn't manage to reach you, but you have an upcoming appointment with us. And after that, we can actually mark it into the Google Sheet, saying that this patient was unreachable. But actually, it doesn't really stop right there. So in the sense that if the appointment is really urgent, right, there's no excuse to say that if the appointment is really urgent, just send a notification to the receptionist or the healthcare assistant to say, hey, this appointment is urgent. Perhaps maybe we should call the patient instead. So we are not eliminating 100% of the healthcare assistant's work, but really deciding and triaging who he or she should call in the meantime. So of course, if it's not urgent, then just route it as unreachable. Don't want too much human intervention right here, right? So that's that here. So let's go back to the flow where we decided to retry a second time, and it kind of like we log it as a retry right here, and that would kind of like be suffice as well. So let's talk about the happier flow. So the happier flow is where the call is made, and we ask the patient, hey, you press 1 to confirm your appointment, or press 2, or press 1 or 0 to confirm your appointment, press 1 to cancel your appointment, and then press 2 if you want to log an escalation to us. So let's talk about button 0. So button 0 is really, I'm confirming my attendance. And once you confirm your attendance, we kind of like send you this little SMS to confirm. You can even send a WhatsApp to confirm, right? And of course, if you want to cancel, we actually notify our staff internally to do that cancellation. And we also send you an SMS. You know, maybe you want to reschedule. Perhaps we can set another flow to do rescheduling, to say that you want to cancel, but maybe you also want to reschedule, and hence we can get back to you, or we can give you another time slot. And of course, you can also reschedule through the WhatsApp channel as well, to kind of like say, you know, you want to reschedule. So this is the whole flow right here, that it creates this little entry loop as well as feedback loop to the patient at the end of the day. One thing is interesting that when I designed this flow was to include an open channel. So what, you know, we don't wash hands after the confirmation is done or the cancellation is done. We actually do leave a little open channel here, which is the WhatsApp channel, where you can actually post post engagement. You can still reach out to us through the WhatsApp channel to say, hey, by the way, I previously confirmed, but I have something urgent, I can't make it, and hence would like to cancel or reschedule. So then that leaves you that little open channel through the WhatsApp point of view. So this, all in all, is kind of like all that. I give you another example here that was very interesting. I was thinking that when you reach out to the patient might have 101 things that they might want to tell you. And that's where the chatbot comes in. That's where you can even log a query. So the logging of the query is very interesting, because it will be where the staff has to intervene, or even the chatbot has to intervene. And that really sets the stage where the staff can really get back to the patient through maybe SMS. So we will get back to you through SMS, or we can even get back to you through WhatsApp. So in a way, this is a secret channel that you can kind of like use to communicate with your patients, or they can communicate with you. That actually improves patient experience, right? So this is the overall flow of from start to end of the patient experience journey for a healthcare appointment reminder through n8n. There's another small bit, since you stayed to the end, is talking about what happens. So we spoke about looking at a patient that we have not contacted before. So this is the top flow. Another bottom flow here is more of like 1 day before. So this is the 3 day, 4 day before, 5 day before. This is the 1 day before. So the 1 day before really kind of like looks back at the Google file and said, okay, this set of patients have kind of like confirmed that they are coming. And maybe let's send them another 1 day reminder SMS and 1 day reminder WhatsApp. No harm just sending it, because for all you know, that when you send all these reminders, they might actually tell you, sorry, I just can't make it. You know, I literally forgot, you know, I can't make it. And that actually allows you to free up slots for you to reach out to another patient, kind of like fill up the slot emergency on that day. So just now we spoke about the different living entry points, meaning post informing, say, post appointment reminder. We leave a little channel for people to come and reach out to us. So we call this the inbound SMS hook, inbound WhatsApp webhook, and of course the agent follow-up SMS, as well as the agent follow-up WhatsApp hook, right? So when there is this, it kind of merges, because this channel kind of like merges up, and at the end of the day, what you want to track is really about marking the escalation as resolved or not. So basically, you don't want to leave things hanging with the patient when the patient asks for something, right? So when they come to you with a message, you say, I'm running out of medication, I need to see you soon, that kind of thing. There will be this inbound SMS and WhatsApp channel that they can lock a case to say, maybe I can't make it, I want to cancel, or I want to reschedule because something came up, or maybe just another question that they are interested to find out. So this is the escalation protocol. And actually this all leads down to basically acknowledgement and even SMS acknowledgement, WhatsApp acknowledgement, cancellation of acknowledgement, and of course, having that response to SMS or even WhatsApp. And you can even get the agent to follow up with an SMS or even get the chatbot to follow up with an SMS. So, yep. So this actually forms all in all the whole long yard of healthcare appointment reminders that anyone could design, clinics, hospitals, and everything on n8n that runs autonomously. Of course, you need the API key and everything. But yeah, I hope that this video gives you a quick overview of how to design your own n8n workflow for your clinic or your hospital. Anyway, so my name is Dexter, and feel free to comment in the sections below on what you think this can be improved, or you have any doubts on how to build this. Just let me know below. And of course, if you like this video, remember to share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!